The Friday evening crowd at Miller's Steakhouse was loud and cheerful, the clinking of glasses mixing with the low hum of country music. But at a corner table, Jack Carson sat quietly with his 8-year-old daughter, Emma. A decorated Army veteran and now a single dad, Jack was used to watching the world from the sidelines. Life after the military hadn't been easy. He worked long hours at the auto shop, raised Emma on his own, and rarely spoke unless necessary. People sometimes said he looked too serious, but Jack knew he carried the weight of things others didn't have to see. Tonight was supposed to be special. Emma had begged him for a real steakhouse dinner, just like the ones she saw on TV. Jack agreed, even though money was tight, because he wanted his little girl to have one night where everything felt normal. They were halfway through their meal when Jack noticed something at the table across from them. A man in his 50s wearing a police chief's uniform laughing with friends. The guy was well known in town, Chief Randall Hayes, a man everyone respected. But suddenly, Randall stopped laughing. His hands shot to his throat, eyes wide, face turning red. He was choking. The entire steakhouse froze. People gasped. Some shouted for help. Others fumbled for their phones. But no one moved fast enough. Jack didn't think. He just reacted. "Emma, stay here," he said firmly, already out of his seat. In 3 long strides, Jack reached the chief, yanked him up, and performed the Heimlich maneuver with the precision of someone who had faced real emergencies before. 1, 2, 3 thrusts and a piece of steak flew out onto the floor. The whole place erupted in relieved applause. But the chief didn't cheer. He turned, staring at Jack with something between shock and gratitude. "You," the chief started, his voice shaky. "Don't talk," Jack said simply, giving the man a firm pat on the back before returning to his table as if nothing had happened. The chief stood there, chest heaving, watching this quiet stranger sit back down with his little girl like saving a life was just another part of the evening. But that wasn't the shocking part. Because as the chief composed himself, one of his friends leaned over and whispered something in his ear. The chief's face changed. Confusion, then realization, then disbelief. He looked again at Jack, the single dad who just saved him, and said softly, almost to himself, "Carson." Jack Carson. Jack froze. He hadn't heard that name spoken like that in years. The chief walked over. You served in Fallujah, didn't you? You're the guy who saved those 3 soldiers when Jack cut him off gently. It doesn't matter. That was a long time ago. But the chief wouldn't let it go. "People should know," he said. "You didn't just save me tonight. You've been saving lives long before this." Jack didn't respond. He just looked at Emma, who was beaming with pride at her dad. The steakhouse manager came by, insisting Jack's meal was on the house. The chief, still shaken, invited Jack and Emma to dinner the following weekend, his treat. He said he wanted to tell people about this man, this veteran who kept quietly serving others without asking for anything in return. Jack didn't want recognition. He never had. But that night, as he walked out holding Emma's hand, he realized something. Sometimes the world needs reminders that courage and kindness still exist, that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when it matters most. Back in the car, Emma looked at him with wide, proud eyes. "Dad," she said softly, "you're like a real-life superhero." Jack chuckled, started the engine, and replied, "Nah, kiddo. Just a dad who got lucky enough to help when someone needed it." But deep down he knew this night had changed something. For him, for the chief, maybe even for everyone who had witnessed it. Because sometimes one simple act of selflessness can ripple out further than you ever imagine. Media picked it up next, and before Jack knew it, people at the auto shop were stopping by just to shake his hand. Jack didn't like the attention, but Emma did. At school, she told her friends, "My dad saved the police chief's life." And for the first time in a long time, she looked at him not just as dad, but as someone the whole town admired. Jack realized that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't such a bad thing after all. Later that week, Chief Hayes showed up at the auto shop himself. "Carson," he said, shaking Jack's hand firmly. "I can't stop thinking about that night. You didn't just save me. You reminded me what real courage looks like. I'd like you to come to the town hall meeting next week. Let us honor you properly." Jack hesitated. "I'm no hero, Chief. I just did what needed to be done." The chief smiled knowingly. "Funny thing about heroes, they never think they are." Jack didn't answer.